Hey everyone. So yeah, I wanted to show you how I went about making that painting. I started off on this yellow canvas and I'm holding the charcoal in a way that gives it maximum freedom and flexibility to sort of do as my subconscious wants. Not, I'm trying to not control the charcoal as much as possible. And I'm just sort of, as you can see, just making random marks here. I feel that my subconscious will eventually, over time, on this during this process, will sort of go back to the lines and shapes that it likes, without me really having too much to do with it, if you know what I mean. So areas that I sort of keep repetitively drawing over might end up staying in the painting. So as you'll see when I start putting a little bit of black paint on, the same thing happens. I'll kind of just randomly start, but there's be certain parts of it that I'll keep enhancing with a black line, and that those areas might end up being part of the finished canvas, finished painting. So this is obviously just all abstract shapes, but the way that you sort of get sensitive to this stuff is just from a lot of drawing practice and general practice and looking at art and just sort of just sensitizing yourself, I guess, if it's something you want to do, that is, to shape making. It has to come from just a lot of practice. That sort of reliance on your what's inside of you, and not really and not really thinking too hard about it. There's definitely styles of abstract painting that can be planned out and structured, but that's really not what I'm going for in this one. I just want to activate the line with water and make things soft, and the things that'll be the hard lines in that'll stand out will sort of be my roadmap at the moment. So I'm just sort of trying to make interesting things happen on the paper, on the canvas, and just one step leads to another step. So I'm just going to start off with some blue grey. I could have started with any color, but I mean it's a sort of neutral color. I could have gone with a sort of umber. I usually go with sort of a warm color. But I mean, the thinking here is just, let's start with a color and see what happens. I'll just speed this part up a little bit because it's just kind of repetitive, and I'm just searching here and just playing, really, just getting paint on canvas. And like I said, I'm sort of seeing what repetitive what parts just sort of start standing out. It's really interesting, that it's this like bacterial growth almost, that sort of things grow in a random pattern at first, and then sort of things can start to, that some things can start having their own strength, and it's almost like I'm not part of it. I'm not really part of the process. I'm trying to just let my, my history, my inspirations, my things that have excited me in the past, my drawing practice, just sort of let that take over from any thinking. So I am actually cutting out bits where I'm not painting because it's unbearably, it can be a long process. But I will try and leave that whole waiting around process in as well sometimes. Like here, I'll just sort of, tentatively do this kind of thing, and then potter around looking for another color or whatever. So that's just how long it sort of takes. Just choosing a color. So, I mean, again, palette knife work, painting, it for me, it has to, if my drawing practice isn't consistent, I don't feel that confident doing this kind of stuff. So, my suggestion, if you like to make abstract paintings or any painting, is just, sketch and doodle as much as you can, because it's just that eye-hand-brain connection is going to just get stronger all the time, or more honed in. Definitely watch TV. I love Chef's Table. I don't know if you guys have watched that. I just love the sort of whole handmade, the close-up beauty shots of the creation of food, and the stories of the chefs, and I find it so inspiring. So I see with my video, this is the next stage this is the next video that I got. I missed out a bit. I was painting in the studio last night. I didn't have the camera with me. But you can see I sort of exaggerated some areas that I liked and worked on the negative areas and sort of whited out these areas that I thought would give it a nicer shape. So I sort of thought that I was sort of at the end, so I signed it, and then I kept adding little bits and pieces and bits of black line. I just didn't want to leave that area plain white I just wanted to put something there. I think it'll probably all tie together in the end. But it's interesting that how you sort of, your gut sort of just directs you in which, because there's no sort of logical reason to put those marks there. It's just sort of instinct. And we'll see how it looks at the end, if the instinct was good or not. You guys must let me know if you think that the painting looked better now at this stage or at the final stage. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on that. Maybe just tell me at the minute mark where you think it was good, and I'll learn for next time. Okay, so I've got to this point and I've sort of brightened up a bit the areas that I want to brighten up. I still think maybe this area should be neutralized a little bit, because it's sort of maybe confusing those yellows over there. So I'm going to put a light grey in there, just see how that looks. So what I'm doing, sorry for this messy palette, I'm going to mix this and that grey, which will give a sort of blend of the blues, and because this is a sort of almost slightly greenish tint, it'll bring in a bit of the yellow. So let's see. I think that works. What do you guys think? You can leave a little bit of the yellow showing there in that spot there. Or maybe I'll just darken that a bit because it's sort of like part of the shadow area of this mass. That's sort of how I see it. Same there. Yeah, I kind of dig that. So it's just, constant interplay of light against dark and neutrals against colors. Things like that got to keep in mind. Well, you don't have to keep it in mind. It's just, you've got to just sort of hone your instincts, I guess. And there's no like right or wrong. But what you're doing is you're solving a problem that you create. You're solving a color problem with your instincts that you create with your instincts in the first place. So that's my kind of maths. The other kind of math I cannot do. So just by graying out these certain areas, it's making the sort of color area pop a bit more. Should I gray that? There. I think that. This is the part of the abstract. This is the part of an abstract painting that is difficult, is sort of leaving it alone and trying to find the balance. So now I want to maybe fade this part down a bit. Every time I touch it, one thing affects something else. So that's what's hard to sort of know where it ends. But it's such a nice kind of challenge. To take out these drips. So I don't know if you can sort of see, I'm just trying to get rhythm, sort of repetition, but not in, trying to do it not in a boring way. Bring the blue in here as well. I'm mixing some cobalt and this teal color. Soften this a little bit. I know you guys can probably see things that that I can't see because I'm sort of getting so close to it, but that's why you've got to do your own. And now see, I killed that little bit of cobalt, a nice bright bit of cobalt. Well, I didn't kill it, it's a little hint there. It's a nice strong, it's a lovely colour, that cobalt blue. So the question is, do I put it back somewhere? Because I like it so much. I always just kind of like to try it out anyway. What is this? Yeah, Amsterdam. This is cobalt blue. I hate finding brushes that I forgot to clean the night before. But the dried hairs give it a bit of texture. It gets crazy this time, this part of it where you can't, it's hard to make the right judgment, because this is sort of like anything could work. Anything could work, it's just kind of how it's done. And to what degree. You know, like you cook, you can use, you know, Gordon Ramsay can use carrots and onions and celery, and it's just how small he cuts it, how, you know, the temperature he cooks it at, time he takes to use certain things, the way he stirs it. And pretty sure you can do a better stew base than I could. So I'm just gonna. I have to just leave this. It's okay. It's a nice abstract. It's got some pop. It's got some movement. Got a bit of rhythm and soul. A little improv jazz piece. And just the final bit is I'm going to give it a couple of coats of varnishes, just the first coat. Gives it a nice shine. For smallish painting, it's nice to make it glisten, like a little piece of jewelry. Yeah, that's the first coat, and the next one or two will sort of smooth out the previous marks of that varnish. That's why you need to varnish 2 or 3 times. So thanks for watching. It was quite a long video, and this will be available on sachiart.com.